Hi, I'm Gregory Weitzel. You might notice I'm currently on oxygen at the moment. That's because of cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes and cigars for 45 years. Maybe I should rephrase that a little bit to I attempted to quit smoking for 45 years. During that time frame, I tried everything to quit. I attempted cold turkey. I attempted hypnosis. I even had laser treatments on various acupressure points all over my body. None of this worked. I then tried the nicotine gum, nicotine mints, and then the transdermal nicotine patches. Now, these three last items assisted a small bit. They helped to cut down my desire for nicotine, but they did not eliminate it. My habit was so strong that I needed even more. And then I realized that the habit consisted of several different parts. Part one is the act of holding a cigarette between your fingers. Part two, touching your lips with the cigarette, one end of the cigarette. Part three, deeply inhaling and feeling that nicotine fill your lungs. I really liked it. I liked smoking. Part four is exhaling, watching the smoke leave your nose or your mouth. Sounds silly, but watching that smoke is part of the habit. And the final piece was what I called playing with the smoke, where you would actually blow smoke rings and do silly things like that. You'd think that after having a lung removed, I'd quit smoking. I lasted 3 days. And then I started sneaking cigarettes, and soon my habit was right back up there. Wasn't up to 5 packs a day, but it was two, maybe 3 packs a day. Then I got something really, really bad. I developed atypical pneumonia. Now, I never heard of atypical pneumonia. Of course, I'd heard of regular pneumonia. I'd had it a few times. But atypical pneumonia is a virus rather than a bacterial form of pneumonia, and antibiotics simply don't do any good. For 3 full days in the hospital, they gave me various cocktail mixes of antibiotics with no success. And that lasted for 3 days. Miraculously, I started to feel better after they stopped giving me antibiotics. Now, by this time, a doctor had already told me that I only had about a 50-50 chance of surviving and leaving the hospital alive. He asked me if I had all of my affairs in order. During the 14 days that I was in the hospital with this pneumonia, during the first 3 days, I had an extreme panic attack each of the 3 evenings. I couldn't breathe. I was on oxygen, but I couldn't catch my breath. I called for a nurse, and each time a nurse came, I was in the intensive care unit. And so a nurse came quickly, and I said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm in extreme pain. I feel like I'm drowning. Would you please euthanize me? I begged her to kill me. Fortunately, She declined my request. And I did catch my breath. And I did start to feel better. But this happened 3 days in a row. And each time I begged the nurse to euthanize me. This is no way to live. After 14 days, they discharged me from the hospital. Now, you'd think at this point in time I would certainly stop smoking cigarettes. They have me on oxygen 24 hours a day. About the second or third day after being discharged from the hospital, I went to the backyard and I sneaked a cigarette. Soon I was smoking 3 or 4 a day, sneaking them so that my wife wouldn't know. About the 5th day, she and I stopped at a shopping mall, and I'm not a big shopper. But I saw a woman at a kiosk that had something called an e-cigarette, an electronic cigarette. Never heard of them before. And here's what this particular brand looks like. It has 2 parts. The white part where the tobacco would normally go in a regular cigarette is a rechargeable battery. In a starter kit, you get 2 rechargeable batteries plus a battery charging system. This is a completely self-contained atomizer with the nicotine in it. This is the equivalent of a pack and a half of cigarettes, 30 cigarettes. This disposable atomizer with the nicotine in it cost a fraction of what I was paying for cigarettes. Substantially less than half the price. Now let me show you how this works. The 2 parts simply screw together. Now I have a cigarette. It feels like a cigarette. The first part is it satisfies that need of that part of the habit of simply holding the cigarette between 2 fingers. The next part of the habit is touching it to your lips. The third part of that habit is inhaling and having the smoke hit your lungs. And the next part of the habit is watching the smoke come out through your mouth or your nose. And the 6th part, the final part, as I said, is playing with the smoke, literally blowing smoke rings. And you can even do that with this e-cigarette. This is the greatest thing since the invention of the wheel. Now, if you will give me your name and your email address, put them in this box right over here. I'll send you a special report on quitting smoking. And if that report doesn't help you quit smoking, then I want you to try the e-cigarette. It's extremely affordable. As I said, it costs less than half of what a pack of cigarettes do. This one cartridge, which is the equivalent of a pack and a half, costs less than half of a pack of cigarettes. There are no carcinogens, there's no tar, there's no smoke, and there's no odor. The benefits to you go on and on and on. Your tongue will even come back to being pink. Your breath will be substantially better. Your family will be thrilled that you have quit smoking, and you can now smoke this e-cigarette virtually anywhere. You can smoke it in a hospital, in an office environment, at your desk, at your workstation, no matter what you do. Because there's no smoke, there's no odor, and simply good old fashioned nicotine. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching.